Blue Lock Chapter 322 has just released, so we get to learn more about Isagi's training from 44 days ago, as well as a little bit of backstory on how he got into football. With 15 minutes left on the clock and surprise substitutions, the Nigeria game is finally wrapping up. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it quick. The chapter begins with the announcers reminding us 15 minutes are left. We see the audience members getting hyped and the commentators telling us it's 3-0 again. This is like the 100th time they've repeated the score in this match. If I was a Nigeria fan, I would just head on out at this point because I wouldn't be able to take the constant reminders. All of a sudden though, the ref shows that Blue Lock has made substitutions and none other than Corona Ronse and Raichi Jingo take to the pitch. Oh my god, who expected this? This was a surprise and a half. We didn't see any subs during halftime, so I kind of thought we wouldn't see any in this match. But randomly, they are here, and I'm super hyped seeing the boys. Corona hits this Mario jump saying shark, and after 1,000 years, Corona fans are finally fed. Because let's be honest, PXG did him dirty. I've been predicting that Raichi would sub in this game because it just makes the most sense. He's able to mark Onazi, who is the only threat on Nigeria, and if Onazi can't play, then Nigeria would lose the additional hope they didn't even know they still had. Both these subs really do make sense. Corona will most likely combo with Isagi for the last goal, and Raichi can defend against an awakened Onazi. Ego even chilling in the back, knowing this was the smartest possible move. Raichi says, "Let's go." Raichi-sama, the match closer, steps into the field, and Corona repeats himself, saying, "Let's end it." But with both of them coming in, we see Hiyori and Chigiri get subbed out. Which is honestly a little surprising to me, considering we didn't see any of their training backstories. I thought someone like Aryu, whose training backstory was already done in this match, would get subbed off instead. They both did alright. I mean, they got some passes and both got a shot attempt, but by far this is their worst showing in a match, which I don't think it's their fault. Like, it's more of the plot's fault for saying no to their goals and the fact that they also did good in every other match. And again, we didn't see either of their 44-day ago trainings, but one thing that's on my mind is Chigiri's specifically. They gotta be saving it for the France match where we see him go head-to-head with Loki, and if that's true, we will be there in suits and ties ready to watch. Anyways, Ego says that the experiment ended, talking about the formation, and we see the new formation is a 5-4-1 with Rin up top. Henri says there is 15 minutes left, and Ego, with the fire dialogue, tells Blue Lock to end them with a 0. Yo, in other words, he's telling Blue Lock to make sure they stay embarrassed. I'm hella dead. The match restarts though, as we see Onazi pass to Kuso and Raichi running towards him. It doesn't really restart though, because we see Isagi and start getting his 44-day flashback. So yeah, talk about a bait. I thought we were about to see a Raichi versus Kuso matchup, which at this point is the equivalent to a hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby. Kuso is so disappointing. Like, we for real thought he was gonna be half decent. He was just a nonchalant aura farmer when we first saw him, and then he turned into the shocked Glazer, which is a diabolical transformation if you ask me. Anyways, the flashback starts off with the note we saw before, telling Isagi to learn about football. The key to his next evolution is in there, and to discover it himself. We get a compilation of his training, watching the old VODs, him on a flight, and another game that's not the Spain match. While he dialogues that this training Ego tasked him with, the more he knows about the world of football, the more his sense of value changes and becomes newer. As we see our boy in the crowd celebrating with other people in the audience. This guy must have been gambling on this guy scoring, because no way someone can be this happy. And I just have to mention, Isagi might have gotten the single best training in the Blue Lock facility. Bro gets to travel the world, try new foods, watch football games, all the while Sendo is fighting in the trenches. Isagi smiles and says football is fun, interesting, and he wants to try it as soon as he gets back. This new version of him. And then the two kids are getting hyped watching the goal as well. One says he wants to be a football player, and the other says he's going for the Ballon d'Or. Isagi overhears this, and it reminds him of when he was a little kid. Yeah, guys, Isagi at 17 years old just had a back in my day flashback. But now we get a flashback inside of a flashback, and it begins with older Isagi asking why did he start playing football, and a little Isagi is just crying on the couch. He's crying over something scary, scary, and a younger Isagi's mom comes to comfort him, asking what's wrong, he's crying, and then eases him, saying it was just a mosquito. A younger Isagi's dad is here too, and not gonna lie, they did a damn good job de-aging them. I know Isagi's mom got some people acting like Sanji, and Isagi's dad looks fresh. He was mogging in his prime. He mentions that Isagi is a scaredy cat of anything, and that he even cries to raindrops, wondering what that's all about. If y'all didn't know, this is sort of a callback to Isagi's light novel, where he was able to predict the rain because of his super senses. Now, I don't know if the light novel is canon, but that is a little crazy. Isagi low-key got superpowers predicting the rain. Isagi's dad suddenly remembers he has tickets though, and tells them let's go as a family, while little Yoichi asks where, and he says a football stadium. Isagi's mom asks if he's okay and to tell them anytime he is scared, but Isagi's dad realizes he's surprisingly fine. And baby Isagi starts analyzing the game. Guys, we got baby Isagi feats now. He says that they're kicking a ball and it's an 11 versus 11 match to steal a goal. Isagi's always been like this, huh? I don't know if he is just the brightest kid ever, but at that age, I was not analyzing anything. In fact, it was quite the opposite. I was playing with sticks and stones. Isagi says at that moment, he feels like his brain has awakened, and this is how he got into football. The next panels show him wanting to try it, wanting to be there. He was stimulated by the so-called instincts of hunting that Ego mentioned. It's just more thoughts on him thinking that football was fun and that he wanted to learn more about it. He wanted to grow stronger today and tomorrow, and he became engrossed with himself. However, as he grew up, that feeling was fading and it was buried because of his old playstyle. As we see his bum old teammate and his bum old coach preaching about passing. Isagi then says after coming to BLUELOCK and meeting all sorts of egoists, showing a panel of Bachara, old Kunagami, Chigiri, Rin, Barou, Reo, and Nagi, he finally realized something. That time, that true form of what he felt, the name of the passion that he lost, is called a curiosity to myself. Okay, I think this is the a millionth time we've been reminded of how BLUELOCK has changed Isagi's life. And yeah, it's kind of funny at this point because of how repetitive it is. He also repeated this same line in the last chapter, so we already knew this. But I can't really blame them because it's the first game of the World Cup, so they want to recap on his journey so far and connect the chapters together. Let's be real though, folks. If we were a regular high school student all of a sudden getting a 240 million yen because of BLUELOCK, I would talk about BLUELOCK like how Kuso talks about Isagi. The amount of glazing I would do would rival Daniel LaRusso. We jump back to the present though, and all of a sudden, we see our boys Raichi and Corona immediately pressing Onazi and making him lose the ball. Raichi screams out saying he's not letting go, and Corona says it's his turn, pincer attack. That's what I like to see and hear from our boys. The subs immediately doing something in this game. And Onazi is pissed. Just look at his face, gritting his teeth and all. When have we ever seen him mad in this game before the Isagi rage bait? That just tells you how fed up he is with this match. I mean, his whole team is filled with Mickey Mouse delusional players where he is the only person doing anything. All the while, he's getting trash talked by the enemy team, and specifically Isagi. Bello shouts out that it's not over yet, and I don't know what to tell you, bro, it definitely is, and that he'll steal it. However, we see Metavision eyes in the corner of the screen with Isagi saying that's right, if he doesn't excite himself, who would wanna live his life, as Isagi steals the ball before Bello can. You can't be serious. Isagi now has the ball in the last 15 minutes with Metavision eyes activated. The score is already 3-0. Kaneshiro is making this game a humiliation ritual for Nigeria. Every single time you think it can't get worse for Nigeria, it somehow does. Because Corona is also here, so I assume a Planet Hotline is gonna make a return on the big stage. As Isagi makes his way up, he dialogues about his adaptability, his hopes on someone else, his pleasure, frustration, even his hopelessness. All of it, give it to him, football. And we get this beautiful last page of Isagi's aura eyes popping up and him smiling with all the puzzle pieces detaching. If this doesn't point to an Isagi goal, I don't know what will. The chapter ends off though with one final message from Isagi, who says that he wants to live on the battlefield to meet the new me. So I think at this point, y'all, it's pretty much confirmed Isagi is going to get a goal. If that's the case as well, what a showing from BLUELOCK in this first match. We all know that Nigeria isn't going to win at this point. The only possible situation I can see happening is maybe Onazi getting a last-minute goal because he's awakened. But also, there's a lot of context clues to deny that. 15 minutes left on the clock. Isagi has the ball currently. We just got a lot of development for him. He got a backstory. Corona is in to help him as well with Planet Hotline. And Raichi is also here to block Onazi. I think it's more likely that we see the 4-0. If it does follow suit with the 4-0, then we'll most likely only have 2 to 3 more chapters left of this game. Probably a goal build-up chapter, a goal itself, and then the end of the match celebrations that we always see. As for the chapter itself, I do gotta say it was a little bit slower, kind of because we're sort of recapping things. Like, we know before BLUELOCK, Isagi played with bums, and then after BLUELOCK, it saved him, he's awakened. But it's also an Isagi-centered chapter, and I'll always appreciate that too. Regardless though, the subs were definitely a strong point for this chapter. I did not expect to see Raichi and Corona come in this late. If anything, I thought they would be subbed in during the halfway point, like I said earlier. I also wonder if we're gonna see Raichi and Corona's trainings because they got subbed in. And if we do see their trainings, does that mean the game extends longer? Now that I'm thinking about it, that might be the case. I don't really have a problem with this game extending. I think a lot of people just want to get this game over with though, because everyone knows Nigeria is going to lose. They're getting steamrolled. This game is to show how strong a BLUELOCK really is. And I've said it multiple times, the only reason why I'd want this game to end is because it's not boring. The other games are just a lot more interesting. France, we got old rivals and characters. We can make a lot of new predictions. It's just a breath of fresh air. Me personally, I'm enjoying this game still, and even this chapter. I just know in the anime, when they add OSTs, the timing and everything like that, Isagi recapping his journey throughout BLUELOCK, leading to those insane panels at the end of the chapter. It's gonna go absolutely crazy in the anime. But yeah, I think everyone is just ready for the next game, and I don't blame y'all at all. It did say the Nigeria match is coming to an end, so it will probably end soon. Quickly, I want to talk about the next chapter's title too, which is chapter 323, Hopes of the Sunlight. Now, with Isagi having the ball, this can either be talking about him, or it could be talking about Onazi being the hope of Nigeria. Now, even though Isagi has the ball, the hope part aligns more with Onazi's character, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a counterattack from him, we get more development for the new subs, Corona and Raichi, and then we get an Isagi goal towards the end. Those are literally the only two possible options. It either ends right here with Isagi scoring a goal, or the latter, and the more I talk about it, the more I'm realizing that it's probably going to be about Onazi. If we look at the volumes, Onazi's volume covered up to chapter 321, which meant that the new volume starts off with chapter 322. And I don't think they're gonna start off a volume with a game ending in the first 2 chapters. What will most likely happen is what I said before, and then it goes to the halfway point of the volume, 5 chapters in, and then we get a bit of filler extending to the start of the France match, and that's the end of the newest volume, the next one. To put it into easier terms, think of a halfway or 5 chapters for the Nigeria match, and then the other 5 chapters for the 10 chapter volume will be about Nagi, Kaiser, Germany, Spain, just catching up with all the other things from the U20 World Cup. And it will probably end with the final preparations for the France game, or maybe even the start of the game itself. So that's my final predictions on what I think is gonna happen in the next few chapters. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Make sure to leave any thoughts you had on the chapter or my thoughts for the future chapters in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, you might as well hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything BLUELOCK related, especially with the France match right around the corner. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. As always, YouTube really thinks you like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out too. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.